Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back. I'm your host with the most. Let us dive right in. So, I got a pretty sweet game today. This is not my highest record in terms of game score, but this is in fact my best kill streak getting ever. So, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I don't want to talk about the gameplay too much because I really have a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about. So, first off, uh, been trying a new game, Bulletstorm. Pretty cool. It's kind of like if you haven't seen anything about it, I got it on PC and it's got like pretty badass graphics. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the graphics in this game are like sick. I got a new computer, so it's all hopped up. So I'm rocking like anti-aliasing and enthusiast settings on all accounts, and it looks really great. But the story kind of sucks, and the voice acting is absolutely terrible. But I don't think that's really why you play. Like having a leash is pretty badass. Like you can whip people around and shit like that. You can kick them and they slow down, and then you can like shoot the shit out of them, and you get all sorts of crazy points for doing all sorts of like shit and killing people and stuff. And it's I'm not a big fan of graphic games, but it is pretty cool because it's so graphic that it's almost comical, if that can like make sense. So been playing that for a little while. Stay tuned for a little bit of that gameplay. I'll probably post some of that up when I get a chance. But I think I really wanted to talk a lot about my new computer, and I want to talk a little bit about. I think I'm going to start doing commentaries where I'm going to have I'm going to explain things. For example, I'm going to talk about how the current i7 processors work, if you guys even want to care or no. But I'm going to say it anyway, so if you want to listen, great. If not, you know where the X button is. I'll also talk a little bit about automotives, because like those are my two big hobbies are cars and computers. And so what better things to talk about than those two? So let's dive right in. Let's start with this computer that I'm running. This computer that I have here is running a Core i7 950 rated at 3.07 gigahertz. I'm running a GTX EVGA 460 graphics card, a little on the dated side, but still definitely a powerhouse. The GTX 400 series is a really quality card. It was a good price, and with a little bit of overclocking, you can rival performance of a 500 series card. But I want to say a 500 series card like the cheap 500 series card. I mean the GTX 580, like the whole 9 yards. That's like $600. Yeah, that's a serious card. But the 460 that I have is no small whatever. It really is quite a great card. So 850 watt power supply. I actually had a buddy build this computer for me. I wasn't entirely up to date on what all the components that I needed in terms of building my own computer. This is the first time I've ever done it, but he was really helpful, and with a lot of patience and research, I have become quite the knowledge base in terms of these processors. So the i7 950 that I have is rated for 3.07 gigahertz, and with its turbo boost technology that Intel's been peddling, it'll run at 3.27 gigahertz at full times 24 speeds, which is pretty good, but not good enough for me. I really just can't own anything and not tinker with it. So I went ahead and did a lot of research before I did this, because unlike previous Intel processors where you had a front side bus and a clock multiplier. So basically there was the front side bus, which was the speed, and then there was also the clock multiplier, which was the CPU number. So in Extreme Edition chips, the clock multiplier is unlocked and you can set it to whatever the hell you want, 50, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But in lower end brands such as the one that I have, you have to up the clock. So Intel with the current i series has completely removed the front side bus. All of the memory controls are integrated into the chipset. So what they have now is something called a base clock, and the base clock is a single frequency number, and then each of the components, the QPI uncore, which is whatever is in the CPU that is not the physical processing cores, such as the integrated memory controller, the core multiplier itself, and the DRAM memory multiplier. There are various other ones, but they aren't really relevant. So in order to achieve, I wasn't really sure how to do it, and I was really afraid of overvolting my system and ruining it. So the first time I found a guide, I really tried to follow it to the T, and it fails to post, which means it didn't even boot up into the BIOS, which means it was way fucked up. So after some reverting to my previous changes and a few other things, I really was kind of disheartened about the fact that I didn't really know what to do. But thanks to Maximum PC, I found an article from them that was really just gold and really got me to understand what I needed to do best. So with just a hair of voltage, I was able to achieve a safe overclock of 3.8 gigahertz, which is the current standard for the Core i7-2600K quote-unquote Sandy Bridge processors. It's really more like Sandy Bridges because people who have those processors, if you ever look, you can't buy any motherboards for them because they burn out the SATA ports for whatever reason. So I lost my train of thought there just for a second. So basically, the first-gen Core i-Series processor, which is what I'm running, is totally stable, and I run it all night with a stress test, and it passed perfectly. So everything is fine and dandy. So I'm going to cut that off here, and I will continue this with my second video. In case you didn't notice, I got 2 legit dogs, 36-2, pretty good. There were some nubs on that team, but, you know, a good game's a good game. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.